Hi everybody, welcome to Sprague Woodturning. My name is Jim. So hopefully you enjoyed last week's video. This week's video we're going to go back to doing some Burl. And this was brought to me by a client in the local area. And I actually did the brain Burl for her. If you haven't watched that video, check that out. But this is maple Burl again. It's got some really nice spalting in it. But it is full of cracks and voids and it's actually got some dry rot in it. So we're certainly going to put designer epoxy to the test this week. Now, ordinarily I like to turn burls to their natural edge. This one we're going to make a normal bowl out of it. So this will be the top part, and then there'll be resin pockets down in here. So that's the plan. If you haven't subscribed, please consider doing so. And of course, anytime you can give my videos a thumbs up, it certainly helps with the analytics. So anyway, we're going to get to the bandsaw, we'll get this round, get it cleaned up, mix some resin up, and get it cast. So let's do that. Alright, so we're almost ready to cast. Now, these are two pieces of burl that I actually cut off of this. And I was thinking, instead of having just a straight resin pocket here, let's just stick these in here like this. And this one like this. And that will actually take up a lot of place where the resin would be. And it should give us a really cooler looking bowl too. So I'm just going to set these with the thin CA glue from Starbond. Again, there's a link in the description for 15% off. And I'll just set it with the accelerator. And then that way I can invert this and put it in the bucket. Because this is actually going to be the bottom of our casting. Anyway, I'm just using this to hold it in place. Once this gets in there, if these happen to move afterwards, it's not a big deal. It'd be awful hard to try and set them in there and then set the casting in as well. This week we're going to use the deep cast. 2 parts A, 1 part B. Okay, so I bought this little, it's actually a frother, I think, for coffee. They say you can mix resin with it too. I don't mix bucket loads of this stuff, so I don't know, it's worth a try. It was only $20 Canadian, so let's see how it does. So far so good. Anyway, I'll use this for a little while before I recommend it. And so far so good. I mean, I don't see a lot, it's not creating a lot of bubbles. I do find with this epoxy, it gets cloudy when you add part A and B together, and then as it mixes thoroughly, then it becomes clear again. And that's pretty much what we're looking at here now. All right, just set that aside for a second. Now she wanted to be able to see through this, so I'm just going to put one of these in and then we'll have a look at it. Of course, the best way to tell what it's going to look like is to put it on a stick. Now, as you can see the stick through there very, very well. So it's going to need at least another one of them anyway. This is actually the main reason why I bought this, to mix in the colors. I find doing it with a tongue depressor or whatever, these, then I find it just has a hard time mixing it in good. Again, this is slow setting resin, so if there's any bubbles in this, it should have plenty of opportunity to escape. It does keep shutting off. It's fine, just hit the button again, it starts up again. That's low. Medium. And high. So that's better. You'll be able to see through that, and it's going to give you definitely some pearl. And the way that I'm actually going to clean this, because I'm sure you're probably wondering, is I've got some acetone in here. There we go. Squeaky clean. Anyway, I wish this had a little bit more power. If you're just using a cup at a time when you're mixing this up, this will probably be a great rig. Anyway, I'll use it here and before I recommend using it. Anyway, let's get into the pressure pot here and get this casting done. Anyway, that level's at 1/2 inch to 3/4 over top of the burl, and that's fine. I know that these types of burls are going to really suck up a lot of resin, so I'm good with that. It'll probably be below the wood when I come back when I open it up. Well, we'll see. All right, so we are out of the pressure pot. Let's see if we can get this out of here now. Things you don't think of. So that's a cap off of a spray can, and the air pressure pushed it all up inside of the cap. So now I've got a solid piece of resin almost that's right pretty much on the top. Anyway, I guess I'll just have to grind that off when I get it out. I got to get rid of that bucket. So it bowed out again. I had a bunch of resin disappear, and now I know where it went to. So off camera, I did another pour, and as you can see, the color's not the same. So anyway, I'll have to cut this back to here because I'm not happy with this. But I got to get rid of that bucket because that's where a lot of the resin went that I lost. So I'm not going to use that anymore. Anyway, let's get this cleaned up, this mess, and get on to the lathe. It completely filled that cup. So between this and the bottom of the pot being bowed out, that's where all my resin went. And now I understand. So anyway, don't use anything that's hollow because the resin will get pushed up inside of it. Of course, everybody's like, well, duh, if you had to turn it around when you put it in there, it'd be fine. Hope you're enjoying the video so far. For some reason, my camera said the files were corrupt or something like that. So I lost all of the footage from the initial mounting it on the lathe and screwing the outside up. So sorry about that. I will say that the epoxy did a real good job hardening up any soft areas, and it was really, really difficult to turn this down. That maple burl and that epoxy combined together was really super hard. So yeah, I'm just really trying to cut in the foot area, trying to define the foot
I really couldn't do a whole lot with the gouge. I really had to switch to the rougher and the finisher from Easy Wood Tools in order to get this done. You can see I've got the finisher up on its side, slicing cuts. It does actually a good job. And there's, you don't really, you're not too worried about getting a bad catch using it this way. I know it's not meant to be used this way, but you know what? If it works, why not do it? Again, this is just hot melt glue that goes in a glue gun in an electric frying pan. There, we'll see how straight that is when it goes back on the lathe, but it should be pretty good. As you can see, it's not too bad. There is, you're never going to get this perfect. Maybe if you're doing it inboard, you might be able to bring up the tailstock, kind of dip the block in the glue and then have some sort of adapter that would go on into the bowl. But when it's mounted between centers, it's pretty hard to do that. So anyway, I leave things nice and thick so that it's not an issue once it's remounted. There's the finisher on its side again. And, I'm really starting to like this method. The little shear cuts with that seem to really do well. A lot of times I don't need this kind of assistance on the outside of the bowls. I usually we use the bowl gouge, drop the handle and do shear cuts with it. But, that did a good job, especially on this really hard wood. And that's why I decided to drill out the center of this too. Typically, I never do this. If I was right-handed and working on the inboard side of the lathe, then I would certainly do it most times. Why not use the tailstock and take out that problem area in the center? Anyway, this stuff was really hard, so I decided to do that, which I don't usually do. So I think we might have some thermal cracking here. I don't think that that's actually chip out. So what I'm going to do is take this off the lathe, pour some thin CA glue down in this groove. It doesn't go all the way through to the back side, so I just want to make sure that it'll help prevent it from maybe migrating. This stuff is so hard, a lot of vibration, so I'm a little worried that if I don't put some thin CA glue in there, that it's going to be an issue. So I'm just going to do that, and then we'll get back to turning. Using the rougher here, and I'm just using the front right corner of it. It really did a good job getting through that hard burl and resin. This is one of those projects where you just try every tool you got and find out what's cutting the best and go with it. It's always important to check your work with your calipers to make sure that you're not too thin in some areas and too thick in others. So get yourself a good one. I think I got that one from Lee Valley here in Canada. Just taking the last few passes, you can see I had the bowl off the lathe and then used the thin CA glue for any little bubbles or any little cracks that hadn't been sealed up yet. Here I'm using the 3.5-inch dimple discs from sandpaper.ca. And I really like these discs. They do a good job. They wrap around the sanding pad. You get less dig-ins. And they're just a great sanding pad. Make sure you check them out. So I sanded it to 180. Then I pulled the piece off, filled any little imperfections that there were, and put it back on the lathe. And I prefer to do that with the piece still. And then after I've got all the glue sanded back, then blend it all in.
Okay, so if you missed Tuesday's video, this is Mohawk Salad Bowl finish. It's thin to somewhere around 15 to 20%. And I put it in these stop loss bags to prevent it from curing. So I'm going to pour out much of the finish in this little plastic cup and transfer it onto the bowl. So that's what we're doing now. Now I didn't buff this piece like I usually do. After I got done sanding it, it looked really good. So I'm just going to leave it as it is. I will buff with Triple E for the second coat. Nothing like the first coat of finish. Look at that pearl in there. Nice stuff. I'm jealous that I can't keep this. But you look at that. Beauty. More there. Wow. The very base of that bowl is sucking up more finish than the rest. Now it looks like we're going to have to do third coat. Oh well, I guess we'll see you tomorrow morning. Okay, so I'll get ready to put the third coat of finish on. I'm trying a new experiment. So this is a brand new can of finish. This has been sitting above the heater in my clean room, and it's quite warm. So we're going to see how well it flows. I've never used it when it was warmed up like this, so let's see how it works. So I can tell right off the bat that it's still quite thick. I got my little 3-ounce cups in yesterday. So again, I'm just going to saturate the rag. And let's see what we got. It would be nice to use this finish without it being thinned. So the bowl is warm, finish is warm. No, I think it's going to have to be thinned. You know, since this is going to be the top coat, it's important that it lays nice and flat. Back in a minute. All right, so this has been thinned 20%. Let's see what happens here. Yeah, immediately you can see that it lays out flatter. There, I think we got it. Yeah, I tried the 10%, didn't look good. Did 15, it didn't look good either. So far the 20% is looking pretty good. It looks really good on the outside of the bowl for sure. All right, let's have a little chat about the bowl. So I've got the bottom finished. It still needs one more coat of finish on it to finish it up. But you know, hey, this is a beautiful, beautiful bowl. Maple burl with the designer epoxy, and that orange pearl is absolutely amazing. I never thought that I would like it as much as I do, but I certainly do. And I know it's really shiny, hard to take any video of. I think it ended up being 9.5 by 4.5, somewhere around there. So let's talk about the finish. It certainly is producing a nice finish. There's no doubt about that, but it is labor intensive. It's not as forgiving as the general finishes stuff. So it's still a work in progress. I don't know if I'll be moving forward with this. I need something that's more user-friendly, something that doesn't affect production as much as this does. So regardless, I'm still gonna keep working with this to see if I can get this figured out so that I can get consistent results all the time. Designer Epoxy, again, this bowl had a lot of soft areas in it, tons of voids and cracks, and it migrated in, and it either hardened up all those soft areas or filled in all those cracks and voids. I mean, it did an amazing job. Very, very little filling to do with the CA glue on this one. Again, thanks again to Designer Epoxy, sandpaper.ca, and of course Starbond Adhesives for sponsoring the channel. And I mean, this is an absolutely beautiful bowl. She hasn't seen this yet, so the first time she sees it might be when she watches this video. But anyway, I got to get this done and upload it because I'm running out of time. But anyway, it is a beautiful bowl. I think she wanted this to be more translucent, and I thought it was actually going to be, but regardless, I mean, that's absolutely beautiful. Love it, love it, love it. Anyway, hopefully you enjoyed the video. And of course, anytime you give my videos a thumbs up, it certainly helps with the analytics. And of course, don't forget that bell notification and subscribe. I've noticed that only 18% of the people that actually watch my videos are subscribed to my channel. So if you can subscribe, that would be awesome. The other thing is Gene Ledbetter I haven't gotten anything back from Gene Ledbetter. So hopefully everything is all right with Gene. And of course, Gene was the winner of the 15,000 subscriber giveaway bowl, but he hasn't gotten back to me. So I'm going to give him another 2 weeks. If I don't hear back from him in 2 weeks' time, we'll draw another name for the 15,000 subscriber giveaway bowl. So yeah. So Gene Ledbetter, please get a hold of me. I guess that's it. Till next time, take care, stay safe, and we'll see you next week.